All right, we're going to do this a little bit of a different way here. I'm going to do a post-game review with you guys, and this was a really, really good game for me. I was up against the Kazakhs, and we had a lot of fun with this one. I actually wound up going deathless this run, so it was pretty fun to have that. We're gonna start off, the typical thing here. This is busygamerdad doing a moo in the jungle. That is who I play inside the confines of the game. I enjoy him very much so. He's a lot of fun to learn the game mechanics with and understand what interactions happen between certain champions. He's actually a good engagement champ, and he's a pretty solid all around learn to play the game character inside the jungle. There are different champions in different roles that are better for that. But I've chosen Amumu as my guy in the jungle. He's my buddy. Now, in this game, I start off and I put a ward right here on red, or my blue side. Because I do not expect this Kha'Zix to invade. He's not the type to invade, but he would be potentially the type to try and get to me early and press an advantage, because Amumu is very weak in the early stages of the game. I do start my Raptors here, which is different. I do start with my E, and I leave that, and I smite, and I move on. So as this is going, I keep on working my way through it, and I keep on going through. Now, the big thing here that I want to showcase to you guys is when you start your Raptors as a Mumu, you want to skip your red and go right to the Krugs, and then finish off the Krugs, and then go back to your red. What this inherently does in the timeline of the game is I'm not looking here when I'm playing the game. I'm actually looking in my lanes, and I'm actually checking the lane states by pressing the F keys or by just clicking on the map and finding out what's going on. If there's any sums going on, I'm hitting tab while this is going on, and then you'll see me pull this into the top here so that I have control over it at this time, and I have position if I want to try and get in here for the gank or any type of play that I want to try and make with the Riven and the Kennen top. There's not really a good setup in that situation. I would more likely path to the mid lane for Yasuo and myself to try and make a play, because Yasuo has a little bit better of a gank setup, and you can see that he actually gets first blood here. He burns his summoner ignite to do that, and I cover him because he's gonna change right here. But I'm covering him just in case the Kha'Zix comes around and tries to get him. And I see that the Kha'Zix there, and I kind of look and I see, and I'm like, all right, well, he flashed out, so then I don't pivot back. He got lucky, but he burned his flash, which is a bad thing for us, a good thing for them. So, and then I'm looking around, and then I rely on my team to tell me these things, and I rely on my tab to give me the information. And Samira burned Jinx's barrier, so that means they had a really good trade, but Samira is super low right now. She's at about 25%. The Pantheon going in there was pretty aggro. They were able to collapse on the Jinx, jump on the Jinx, and get her, and then they're going to try and chase this, but I'm going to ping them away, because the Kha'Zix, I know, is there, because of just how he pathed out, and then when he went back after the Yasuo flashed away. So I know that the Kha'Zix is there, and I'm also looking at my game timer, which is around 3:30, 3:45, which is about when any jungler finishes their first clear. And there's the Zed right there, and I see him. I am only at like 75% health. I'm like, nope, I'm going to duck out. I don't want to risk this. I don't want to walk into a trap or anything like that. And I'm wondering where the Kha'Zix is. He burned his time, or this is why he's so slow, is because he wasted time going into the lane here to burn, potentially try and get a kill from the Yasuo. So I use that to my advantage, and I come in here and I take the Scuttle Crab, and then I path. I notice that my bot lane is in base returning, and I come to the mid lane, and I go through the mid lane. I hit this long range Q. I cannot believe I hit that. I have no idea how I hit that, but I hit it, and I scare the Zed into using his abilities as cooldowns and getting out and letting the Yasuo push. And I see that that the Yasuo has a ward here, which is pretty good. Oh, actually, no, that was placed by me. Sorry. The Yasuo has a ward. Where was it? It was here. This was the ward from the Yasuo. Yeah, that was played for the Yasuo. And then I see, well, let me rewind that here for everyone to see. So I place this ward here just in case I see anything coming around, and I smite that, and I go back in my jungle because my Raptors have respawned by this point. But I look mid lane and I say, oh shoot, there's a play that can happen. Let me help the Yasuo out. And I do my best, and I focus on the Zed, and I actually wind up getting the Zed, and then I go after the Kha'Zix, right here. Try and get him in my tiers. I can't get him. He's a little bit faster than me, and he flips over the wall, and then he's under tower, and I do not want to try and get him under tower. That whole time, my Q was on cooldown because I had used both of them. So you see, we'll go back here, and we'll go to... This is where your cooldown management, your cooldown economy comes into play. Very harsh for a Mumu. So we're going to go here, and we're going to grab me here. So I did my 1Q, and then you'll see it come back up, and then I'll do it again. But then it goes on a 14-second cooldown. At level 4, it's a 14-second cooldown, so it's a long, long time if I use both my Q charges. So that's why I can't get him. And I'm trying my best to have him burn his flash, not knowing if he had done that already to make a play, and I didn't know if he did or didn't, but I was trying my best, and he was smart. He held on his flash. He knew he had a blast cone here to get out, and I was not about to try and get him under tower. So I'm just going to call the play good, and I'm going to go back and clear my camps. But I'm not just sitting here on my camps. I'm looking and seeing what happened here. Okay, the Riven got a kill on top lane. Great. How low is she? Does she need me to cover her? Where did I see where the Kha'Zix went? Is he able to make a play against the Riven that I need to cover her? Things like that as a jungler you need to be cognizant of. Even if you can't keep everything straight the entire time, you need to be making sure that you're aware that these things can happen so that you can try and handle them as much as you can. As a jungler, it's not just clearing these camps and going back to base and making plays in your downtime in between like sections. You should constantly be looking on the map. So where's the mid laner? Well, my Yasuo's there. Where's my Zed? I have no idea. He hit the plant and he found a ward here from my Samira and my Pantheon, and they cleared it. Where's the top laner? Well, the top laner over here, the Kennen, he's making his plays, pushing the wave in. Am I able to make a play up there? No, because the Riven is just coming out of base. I've cleared my entire top side. I don't need to be up there. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to focus on my camps, and I'm going to focus on the full clear. The thing that I do not like is I do not have vision on my dragon objective. Vision on objectives is really hard to communicate effectively with your teammates because sometimes they have wards for it and sometimes they don't. So I'm looking at myself and I'm wondering where the Kha'Zix is, and I see no information about the Kha'Zix. I have no clue he's here right now. There's no wards from the red side for my team here. So he was trying to make a play with the Zed, and he looks like he's going to get it, but the Yasuo is able to get out. They just don't have the damage with their items. They don't have the damage on him because he was able to get boots and be able to move. The bot lane is making a play. So when the Kha'Zix was in mid lane, so you'll see him come out of base. He's going to clear his camps, and then he's going to go into the play here, and he's going to noodle around basically. You're going to see me here focusing on my Gromp and my clear, finishing up what I'm doing here. So we'll focus on me with keeping an eye on the map. You see the Kha'Zix, like we talked about. He's making a play here. We had no vision on him, no idea. The Yasuo is unawares, but he's able to get out, and my team has a control ward there, and I jump into this trying to make the play. The Samira, I try and help her. She has her barrier, and we're able to try our best to get a play to happen, and we get the Jinx, and then we get out. We can push this wave in and maybe get the Nico, but the Samira's damage missing is going to be really what we need here. And I'm not about to do that with an objective up because I don't know where the Kha'Zix is. The Pantheon is super low, so I'm not about to risk the objective simply because my team wants to try and make a play. And then they put vision down here, the Kha'Zix does, and he's like, hey, they're doing objective. We need to get here. So my Samira collapses. The Nico is still super low. The Jinx just gets back to lane and she has to catch this wave. So we're already pretty good spot. And then we see the Kha'Zix come around the corner. He doesn't wait for the team to come here. But then he comes in with the Zed and I burn my R. And we manage to kill the Kha'Zix. And then we basically finish up the objective. And the Jinx rocket thankfully doesn't kill us. So there was a lot of moving parts in that play, and I'm going to try and distill it as much as I can. So I'm going to focus on me for right now. So you'll see, let me get back up into here, and let me do this real quick right here. So we just finished pushing this wave in. We look and see if the Nico's there. We have no clue. I ping that I'm on my way to the dragon. The Pantheon comes with me. I put my control ward down here. I had it here. I put it down there. There's a plant there for the Pantheon. We start the objective. The mid laner is pushing this wave in so they can't come. The Pantheon backs up and we pull this out of the pit so they no longer have true vision on it. They can't see what's going on. The Nico comes around the corner with the clone, trying to see what's going on. And then the Kha'Zix comes around the other side. He gets too far in. The Zed was going to back, but then he's like, oh, hey, there's an objective going on. So then it's like, hey, the Pantheon went ham, and I get in between the two of them. I pop my R. We finish up the Kha'Zix. We scare off the Zed. The Jinx rocket comes from bot lane, but it's not enough. And we just finish up the objective and we get out. And I tell them that I'm not about to go that way because I'm far too low to make anything happen. The Pantheon is far too low to make anything happen. So the Samira can get into the lane and catch that wave. And we're able to get into our top side. And then we're going to play for the grubs up here. This next neutral objective. As we get into this next neutral objective, it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens because I no longer have R. I do have Flash. I am getting my smite back up. The Kha'Zix, I look at my tab and I see that he's 20 under my CS, 23 under my CS, so he's got camps to clear. Knowing that I'm fully ahead of him, I grab my Raptors and I move to try and get a level up on him, another level up, and I try and get in here to try and grab the Scuttle Crab that I know has spawned, and I see him and I push him off of it because now I have an empowered smite where he doesn't. I have 19 left, so my smite goes from 600 up to 900. So he can't outsmite me if I choose to take this Scuttle Crab. Thankfully, my mid laner rotates and we start the grubs, but I'm like, hey, hang on. I want to get rid of this plant and break the vision for them and see if the Zed comes up. And sure enough, he did. And we push into the Zed. And I try and catch him. And we do end up catching him. I do not have my R, so this is a terribly risky play. The Zed came back in to finish off the Yasuo, but I'm able to finish off the Zed and the Vel'Koz right here because they overextended, and thankfully we didn't need her, but the Riven rotated, and the Riven was down here to help pick up any scraps or sweep up anyone who was left who was super low. So that is, this is we'll call it an anomaly in the sense that my mid laner and my top lane, well, all my laners know what's going on and understand what's happening, but they're pretty solid with their CS. They have more CS, or similar CS to my laners. The only one who is potentially a risk for them losing at this point is still the Kha'Zix. They're not necessarily underfarmed. They're not necessarily weak. It's how they're playing together that makes the difference for when you play with a Mumu. You need to know your team's strength and your team's understanding. So right here, I have R, and I blast him, and I hold it, and then I flash over the wall and we get the cannon and I get out of here. The fact that the Pantheon shadows me the way he does is the reason why I made that play. And I wanted him to get something from it. Unfortunately, I don't think he did. I don't think he got that kill. No, he did get that kill. Okay, good. Yeah, so he got something from it. But now you see that he popped the plant the wrong way because he just made a bad choice. And now he's dead and no one's there to save him. So you'll see him die here. I think he dies to the Vel'Koz. No, he dies to the Zed. And the Zed gets a shutdown. And then I'm trying to help, and I miss my Q here. You can't land all your skill shots. That's what this tells me. You just can't. But I'm able to get into here, and I'm able to... So he goes invisible, and then I'm trying to save the Yasuo again, and I just can't. The Yasuo is just super squishy with his build right now. But I'm able to focus on finishing off the Zed. The Zed can't kill me. I'm way too tanky at this point. I have Leandries, and I have... what was that? I'm level 7. He's level 6, I believe. No, he's level 8. Oh, wow. Okay, so he's a level up on me, but I have cloth armor. So that's what really kind of helped me. And I have the 300 health from the Leandries. So I just make the play here, and then I go back to farming. If there's no plays that I'm seeing on the map, this is something that takes some practice and some understanding of, is there a play to make? And sometimes there's not. So you use that time to go through and clear your camps and stay up on CS. I'm now, 40 almost CS up on this Vel'Koz because he just does not farm. Or Kha'Zix, not Vel'Koz, Kha'Zix. He's just not farming, and he's trying to play for kills. He's not trying to play for farm. So he has all these camps up, but he's hoping to try and make a play. He is level 6, but he doesn't have items. He's only got Merc Treads. The only reason this play worked was because he had his other team to back him up. That is the only reason that play worked. So because I'm sitting here farming, I'm now 2 levels up on him. I have 5 kills and 2 assists, but I'm also almost 50 CS more than him. I will be by the time I'm done with this clear. And he's going to still have his full clear to really do. And he's still going to be missing out on things. Had I had wards, my bot lane maybe put wards inside the jungle and seen what was going on here, I could have further taken more camps from him and had him be further behind. So what I'm doing here is I'm going with the Yasuo. I have my R. I'm looking to make a play. So we go in here. We get the stun. I didn't see the stun happen. And I wasn't trying to steal the kill. I was just had my passive with that. I'm trying to save the Yasuo there. So I burn my R, knowing the dragon comes up. So bot lane is now dead. Their jungler is now dead. So I'm like, hey, let's go in here and let's get this dragon. Ocean Dragon is probably the hardest one to take solo for most junglers because it slows you. It has the slowing mechanic in its just natural attack. So you need help. The slowing mechanic affects the person hitting it. So if you have other people hitting it, it's not affecting them. But the bigger problem is the fact that it slows you and takes longer. It's probably one of the longest ones to take, especially in the early game when you don't have that many items to really offset that damage reduction or that slowing that's ending up happening, that DPS essentially. So right here, so this game, it basically goes on, continues on. I'm going to show you a couple more plays and then I'm going to call it, and then we're going to go review another game after after we conclude where I want to end. I think I'm probably going to end around when we take the Baron buff, because there's another 2 to 3 minutes of the game, but it's just us clearing out their base and getting a win and destroying their Nexus. But at this point, all I'm doing is I'm clearing my camps, I'm getting reset, I'm getting Sunfire, I'm going back out, and I'm still looking at the lanes. I'm still looking at what's going on. The Kennen, he's burning his abilities, he's hard pushing because he wants to reset. The mid lane, very tumultuous in the historical sense of this game. Like the Yasuo and the Zed are fighting each other hardcore. The Kha'Zix seems to want to keep camping this mid lane pick, and I do not know why. Maybe they're a duo. I don't know. You can use that. So I missed my Q here against the Kennen, not knowing what's going on, not knowing where the Kha'Zix is. I'm still a little bit wary of where he could be and what could happen. Once I see him, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to back away because I am going in here solo. I do not have my R. I do not have my flash. So and I'm in river where it's very likely that I will die. So I'm not going to start the objective. So I'm going to go back to farming. Here, the Riven makes a pretty astonishing play, if you ask me. The Riven is just that strong. They're able to kill the Kha'Zix after they die, which is kind of nuts. I don't think it was because they had their Ignite. I don't think it was because of any damage over time. Maybe it was some type of shield break or something. But then I come here and I push the wave in. I'm trying to, make sure that they don't take tower. And then they're trying to take me out, and I'm like, nope, you can't. And I actually wind up really doing a bit of damage, and I miss my Q, but I hit the minion, which is what ends up killing this Zed, and I just walk out. I flash out because I do not want to get stunned by him. I was thinking that he was going to come at me under tower, but he wound up not. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just going to leave now. If I hit this Q, I probably wouldn't have pressed it or anything like that because he still has arm guards to stop any damage against me. I use the Pantheon pinging that he wants to do that. That's fine. I'm going to use Raptors to heal up. I do have Smite right now. I don't have R. I don't have Flash. But I'm thinking to myself, hey, this is a good play. Mid lane is gone. I don't see him. The top laner is currently under tower, trying to take the tower. It's not first tower, so it's not like a big deal. They overstay and wind up getting dead. So then it's like, all right, cool. Let's do it. I'm going to get some more HP from this plant, and I'm going to go into it. Not knowing, again, where the Kha'Zix is. I have no vision on the Kha'Zix, but I'm assuming the Kha'Zix is finally finishing their clear. Had I maybe went into their jungle, I could have gotten rid of my last charge for my jungle item and gotten my super smite, my 1200 damage smite, and then guaranteed that the Kha'Zix would not have been able to contest this. So we get that, we press into them like this here, and I get stunned, and I get totally just like trounced, and I leave. I'm like, nope, hard no. We just don't have the damage because I do not know where anyone is beyond this. And I said, okay, fine, let's go do this. Because Amumu can't really solo people. He's not really that kind of a jungler. He can't do it. I'm going to try. So I try and save the Samira, and once I realize the Samira is now dead, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not going to waste my time with this. I'm just going to push myself to mid lane. I'm going to clear this wave, and I'm going to walk up to the Zed, scare him off, and I'm going to go back into my jungle, and I'm going to go clear my camps. And that's what I'm doing. I'm constantly looking at plays. So now I know that the top tower is gone here on both sides. So there's a really long distance for engagement left and top and, or for red and blue side, however you want to say it. And then there's a really long distance for engagement on the bot lane because both towers are now gone. So using that knowledge, I think to myself, should I make a play here with Herald? Should I make the play mid with Herald? How should I want to use my Herald? We have a pretty lengthy amount of time before Dragon comes up. So let's look around and see if we can try and make a play. If not, I'm going to reset, and then I'm just going to not force it. I'm not going to try and push my luck with any type of thing, because I'm worth a 700 gold shutdown. If they get 700 gold or 1,000 gold for me, they're back. Whoever gets it is definitely back in the game. If it's on someone like Jinx, that can be really bad to deal with. If it's on someone like Kennen, that can also be really bad. So the Jinx rocket you just saw fly mid lane, I don't know why she used it then, but that's what she did. I think she was trying to get a play on the pinch hit catch on the Samira, but she doesn't have enough items to make that worth it. So I know that Dragon is up, and I think to myself, hey, maybe we should try and make a play mid before we try and get Dragon. Push the wave down so they have they're forced to go here, and that's exactly what I do. I look at this, I see the Kha'Zix is nowhere to be found, but the Kennen comes in and he pops his arm guard and he comes at us and he's out of position. So I'm like, hey, I might as well make a play there. And then we keep on going with the play, continuing. I use the Herald to knock them up and do a little bit of damage, and then I spin it around and I charge it. And then once the Herald dies and once we take this tower, you'll see me peace out and say, hey, Dragon is where we should be going. We really can't be pushing this any further than this. We can't end right now. We don't have a wave. I mean, yeah, the wave is right there. You guys can stay, but I'm going to Dragon. And that is exactly what I do. I waddle myself over to Dragon and make the play there. I hit this, flop over, and I make the play with Dragon. Knowing that the Kha'Zix is dead for another 5 seconds, the Kennens just got back up, and the Zed's dead for another 5 seconds here. They overstay in the mid lane, I think, here, and they end up dying. Or at least end up, you know, doing no service here. There's no reason for them to stay. The wave isn't going to help. They're not getting tower. If I had stayed, yes, maybe they would have gotten tower. But I'm more objective oriented in my playstyle than tower in that regard at this point in the game, because that was third Dragon. That gives us soul points. The game is still very losable in my opinion, because the Jinx is a scaling champion, and the Jinx is not that far behind in farm. They are a little bit behind in items, but that 1,000 gold shutdown would easily set them up for success. The same thing with the Kennen. The Kennen is still playing. The Kennen is still participating. Even though they don't have arm guard, they are still very much a threat. And maybe this isn't like meta or anything like that, but it's one of those things that I feel is like really important to discuss with like when you hit tab, what you're looking for. You're looking for items, you're looking for levels, you're looking for CS, and you're comparing it to your team. Now, right here, this is where the next big play happens, and I make a mistake. And I want to showcase this mistake, okay? So, when we go in here, I come out of base, I use the gate, I now have just a Negatron cloak, and I have the boots, and I have Sunfire and Liandry's. The Pantheon comes in here and he goes too far. He has no vision beyond this, and he gets trapped. He gets pushed on this side, and I'm like, hey, I needed to do my red before we did that. I see that he got them all low. I come in, and I just killed him. I kill the Kennen, and then I kill the Kha'Zix. I kill the Kha'Zix. I kill the Kennen, and then I try and make a play on the Nico. And I say, all right, cool, we're just going to leave the Nico alone. The Nico is not worth chasing just because it's a Nico. They're very annoying to chase. And so I go in here, and I'm like, all right, let's do this objective. And we go and we do this objective, knowing I don't have Smite or my ult. I know that I don't. The Riven, unfortunately, is like trying her best to help me. But when you do Otacon gives you a debuff that causes you to get more resistances removed. And she gets a shutdown there, and I try and stop her, and I can't. I genuinely can't. She steals Otacon from us. I get the kill on her, but she still steals Otacon, and I let him know I was 35 seconds away from Smite. The Pantheon tried to come and help make the play. I should have not done Otacon then. That is my learning lesson from this game. Even though I was winning a lot, I'm double the CS from the Kha'Zix, not Vel'Koz. I keep on saying Vel'Koz. I'm sorry. The enemy jungler. There we go. Maybe that's what I keep on trying to say. Learn. But you'll see that I now am starting to pull ahead of him in levels. That is because my farm is still pretty solid. I have way more kills and assists than he does, and no deaths. So when I go through now and I start taking his jungle, now that we have all the towers down, I start taking his jungle and start looking for that that punishment for not farming. And if you look at his camps, I don't see if let me see if I can find any. I think when one becomes visible, I'll take a look at it and see what level it's at. Let's see here. So this is level 11. So he hasn't cleared that in quite some time. So this one here is level 11. So maybe he's cleared that one. What is this one at? That one's at level 11. That one's at level 12. Okay, so people have been clearing his camps for him. That's why they're on such a higher level. Gotcha. Okay. Well, still, we have 2 minutes and 30 seconds for drag, and I just try and make a play happen here with the Pantheon. The Kennen uses his Hourglass, and we finish him up. The Riven gets the kill. So he's out of the game for 45 seconds. We go and we get the 4th dragon in the next 2 minutes here, but we make sure that we're making plays as a team. We're not alone. We're not letting them get picks, and we try our best to make it work. Unfortunately, in this case, the Pantheon didn't have that same idea. Neither did the Samira. So that's why I'm showing it here. The idea is that you're strong, but you're strong as a team. You're not strong solo. Riven had to burn Flash and her R, I think, to get in there and do that. And then she's going to get both. And then I think she winds up surviving here, which is just nutty to me that she's able to do that. And she takes the gate out. And the Jinx is just like, what? All right, fine. And then the Jinx is just like, all right, cool. She resets and comes and helps me with Dragon. So, again, this is an anomaly in a lot of places because the top lane, the mid lane, and the bot lane all rotated and helped when they could. If you saw the previous game when I had an Anivia in the top lane, they accused me of inting, accused me of controlling the team and making bad plays. That's going to happen too. You're going to have both sides of this situation. And this is not your normal gameplay, but I would love for this to be your normal gameplay. What I do when I look at these videos like this, though, is I look and see where I could have made a mistake and where I did make a mistake and how that affected the game. So case in point right here, thankfully, we are so far ahead that us losing Otacon doesn't lose us the game. But I'm not going to lose this dragon, so I'm not about to sit there and let them kill my Pantheon or get a numbers advantage and try and steal this dragon. So I'm going to take out who I can, and right there was the perfect play. We were able to take out both the Kha'Zix and the Nico, the two people that could potentially do it. And everyone else who is down here is dead. The Kennen is the only one alive, and he's split pushing, probably rage playing at this point, rage split pushing, killing them. And we go in here and we finish up the dragon. We get the Hex Soul. Arguably one of the weaker souls to get. I agree. It's not necessarily the most, we'll say, potent inside the confines of the game. But it's still, you have 4 dragons. They have none. You're able to push your advantage. From there, we wind up making one more big play right around the Baron that had spawned in. And we all go to it. We actually are all on the same page to make this happen. This right here, if you let's go back to it. This right here was super risky in my opinion and did not need to happen. The Samira did not need to push this in. She could let this crash and come to Baron with us, but she felt the need to push the advantage, take the tower, take out the Jinx, but she's so low that it's kind of like, what's the point? She does have healing. She had to burn her flash. She has to then basically stat check and show off and flex. This to me was a very risky play that did not need to happen. So right here, we are on Baron. You'll see that they come and try and make a play. Actually, wait, no, they don't in this one. It's the other one that they try and make a play. We get this. We all reset at the same time, and then it's walk down mid, end the game. So this is Busy Gamer Dad doing a different style of showing a Mumu in the jungle. This was a really great game for me, an anomaly of a game where I had no deaths. I had 12 kills and 8 assists, and the team was really responsive together and worked really well. I will show you guys another game coming up in this same format. Hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully this helps give a little bit more transparency in what's going on. So we'll catch you in that one. Later. Alrighty, hello everyone, Busy Gamer Dad back again, going to be showing a different flavor of our Mumu in the Jungle series where we do post-game reviews because I don't feel I'm talking well enough during the games. I'm very distracted and I'm very quiet, so I want to make sure I'm trying to distill everything I'm down without having to focus. In this game, we're going up against an oddball pick, a exotic pick if you have Porofessor, and that is Cassante. I was actually very nervous going into this game because I thought Cassante was going to be way more of a problem than he wound up being. In this game, we were able to actually steamroll quite a bit, and I felt really bad for the Cassante because his team was flaming him pretty bad, and he was just trying to play the game. He might have been trying to learn the champion, I don't know, but it was just one of those things that I'm like, really? Why are you guys being so cruel? But they were. So I'm going to leave the objective timers down here so you guys can kind of see. This is on our side, this is on the enemy side here. For us, you know, north, south, east, west, all that fun stuff right there for the brambles and for the for red and blue, essentially red brambleback and the blue sentinel on both sides of the map. Then we have our baron and our grubs, and we have our dragon. Our first dragon is, I believe, a flame dragon. I'm not entirely sure. Is it a flame dragon? No, it's a hex dragon. It's a hex dragon. All right, cool. So I ward my blue side because I think to myself, or I'm sorry, I ward my red side because I think to myself, hey, that's a Malphite top. There is no way I'm going to be able to take out a Malphite top in my first clear. I don't see that happening, especially with the Darius. I just think the Darius has a lot of all-in potential for himself. He's probably going to be able to handle that on his own. So I don't need to be there for any type of early play. I would rather be there at level 4 and see if we can make something happen then. Because the bot side with the Caitlyn and the Lux combo, the Lux can root, the Caitlyn has traps and can stop me from doing things and getting in there and closing the gap and affecting change. So that's where I'm like, all right, I'm just going to path away from bot side and I'm going to go towards top side and make a play top side. Also, the whole while I am checking my map, I'm checking mid lane. Mid lane in this matchup is super volatile. This Ahri was so good. They were so fabulous. I don't know if they were trying to be a smurf or what, but they were hitting charms left and right. The Zoe was doing their best to hold on, and they did really good, but there's a couple of charms where I'm like, that hit me? Oh my goodness, that was amazing. So, yeah, anyways, I know I'm gushing about it, but it is what it is. So I try and make a play mid here. Very rare do I do this, but I see that they're low enough and I try and path over and they don't have vision on me. I miss my bandages, but they burn their flash. They hit this charm. They hit it again and I'm like, all right, I'm out. I don't want to risk this. The Zoe needs to push this wave in and I'm not about to do anything with it. But hey, we got their flash. That was the big thing. That was what I was trying to do. I was trying to get the pressure off of the Zoe so that the Zoe could get this wave out from under her tower and maybe make a play. Unfortunately, though, something wound up happening bot side before anything got too crazy anywhere else. They did not burn any of their sums, which was weird to me. When I looked at the hit tab, they did not burn any of their sums to do anything. The Caitlyn used their barrier, but that was very odd that they didn't. And we're still 330 is when I typically end up clearing, finishing my clear 330 or 325. But if you'll notice, when I did this first review before I did this, the Cassante actually is super slow and knew their timing and came here and took Scuttle. And I just reset right here, seeing that there was no play to be had. The Malphite is above half health, and I wasn't going to make a play there. I did not know that this was gone. The Ahri was at half health, and the Zoe was super low, and I wasn't going to try and force a play there. So I just said, I'm going to reset, I'm going to get my item, and then I'm going to come back out, and I'm going to be that much stronger. So then I go back down to go into my clear. I swap out for Sweeper. I get the Sweeper Oracle Trinket right here, and I just rinse and repeat because I look and I'm like, okay, there's nothing going on. There's no reason for me to go crazy here. There's no reason for me to try and push into anything. I saw this happen and I'm like, what are you doing? You're giving up this farm? Why? It was so weird to see him do this. I actually wound up looking and I walked right into the Cassante when I did this. So if you see, like right here, I go and I clear my, I'm sorry, I go after Scuttle Crab, and I'm watching the Darius play happen, and I'm not paying attention on my map, and I'm walking, and I'm walking, and I'm like, this is fine, and I turn around, and I did not even see the Cassante here. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I gotta go. And so I try and Q into him, and then the Ari comes and backs him up, and I'm like, nope, I shouldn't do this, but then I realized my bot lane was here, and I said, okay, cool. The Cassante wound up actually pushing me into the Ari, which was super helpful. If the bot lane did not rotate, they would have gotten me. 100% they would have gotten me. So here I try and punish that, and I try and steal things from the Cassante, try and press my advantage, knowing that him and the mid laner are dead. So I have the access to it, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm out. And then I come back here, and I take the Scuttle Crab. So that was a really scary play, and I don't mind that Q that missed the Scuttle Crab. But all because I was not paying attention. I was too focused on what was happening here. And that's why, as a jungler, the lesson I learned from this is to try and keep my head on a swivel. The biggest problem I had in this game was being proactive as opposed to reactive. So I tried to make a play bot here. We got the Caitlyn to burn her flash. Unfortunately, the Seraphine didn't have mana for any big heals or anything like that from her stats, or from her kits. So I'm just like, all right, cool, I'm out. I'm not going to risk this. I'm not going to push this. And I'm glad I didn't, because the Cassante showed up and tried to make something happen. The Seraphine got out. The Cassante was just kind of wandering around down here, and I was getting confused. Like, I didn't know if they were going to try and start Dragon or not. So I asked, or I didn't ask, you don't see me ping about it, but I'm like, I'm not going to risk going to drag and trying to do that when my bot lane fully reset and my mid lane is somewhat low and wants to reset. So I just backed off and I moved on. The timing for that might have been a little off, but that's just kind of how I handled it. And now I'm going back into full clear mode, and I try and make a play happen here. I'm trying to get that level 6. I'm trying to get that power spike for myself. Knowing that I don't have flash, I need to have something in my toolkit that will give me some level of potency, some level of control. The Darius, at this point, I look at the CS, and right around this time is where I'm like, all right, this Darius is new. This Darius is either new to the champion, new to the game, or just doesn't know how to CS and last hit, and that's fine. I say to myself, I don't want to risk any plays here against this, and I don't go there. The rest of the game, I stay away from top, because he is half the CS and not worth the investment. And I'm not trying to say that in a mean way. I am merely saying that in a way that's like, I can't help you because you're not helping yourself. I hit the plant up. He was on full vision this whole time, and he still did not respect the Cassante. He's able to make it out. I don't know how, by the grace of anyone. We do end up going after the Cassante. I hit him here when he hits his ghost. I stun him, and I give him the kill. And that is it. Then I leave, and I'm like, all right, I'm out. I'm going to hit the plant, and I'm going to see if I can make a play mid lane. So I go mid lane, and I see if there's a play there, and I see nothing's available there. I see that grubs are spawning in 8 seconds, and so I say, all right, I'm going to go, and I'm going to go into the grubs. I'm not going to try and waddle down to dragon. Thankfully, the Zoe comes and helps. I would have loved for the Darius to come, but they did get a kill, and they have not reset yet. And then he stays. Again, it's this weirdness where I'm like, I don't know if he knows what he's doing right now. The Malphite is super low, but it's a very risky play because I don't know if he has R, and he can R us under tower. So we do end up getting all of these right here. We know that the Cassante is up. I do not know where he's at. I'm assuming that he's on dragon right now. So that's where I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to leave this and I'm going to reset. And I'm like, oh, hey, Ari, how's it going? And I'm just like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Yep, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I take that kill. Thankfully, the Malphite saves me. I Q out, and I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. You can't make me. Because I recognize that this was a bad play right here to go after the Ari, but I had no choice. And then I say, all right, I'm going to maybe help. Nope, I should have left right here because the Ahri gets a shutdown. That's my first death, my first mistake. I should have just reset. I should have waddled myself under tower and reset. So lesson learned there. And then I realized that the Cassante took the first dragon, and now he's just clearing Scuttle, and he's going back into farming. He's now level 6, so he now has access to his ult, which knocks somebody out of combat, basically. It pushes them off the screen, essentially. Not off the screen, but out of the fray, as it were. And he does get a huge amount of resistances and a huge amount of power from it. So I go into full clear mode knowing that there's no objectives. I have just got my R back. I just got my flash back. I did get my other components for my item, but I did not get my full item yet. So I'm very close to it, but I don't have it yet. I want to get my blue at least before I try and make a play. I see that Ahri is clearing this ward in the river. And I'm like, oh shoot, there's going to be a play bot side. I need to maybe make myself aware of it and get down here. So I go down this way. And I'm like, all right, let's see if we can make something happen. And so I go in here. And I miss my Q. But I waddle up and I steal the kill. I effectively steal the kill there. I try and hit my Q here. And I don't think... Oh no, okay, I turn around. Because I see that the Ahri is missing and the Zoe is about to die. So I turn around. Yep, and then this is where I'm like, I don't know how I hit that Q. That Q was over here. Ahri was here. I don't know how that worked, but okay. And then we get the play on the Ahri, and then we go back to clearing. And then from there, it's just clear. This is where the Malphite starts trouncing the Darius, because he's 2 levels up. He's double the CS. And he can just kill him under tower anytime he wants. And the Darius is super low right now. So he's just going to smack him under tower, get him super low, R him, finish him off, and then walk right out. Like nothing happened. And I'm not about to try and make a play happen there because I don't have my R. I have flash, but that's not anything I can really do about it. And I have my full clear to finish up. So I'm finishing up this, and then... I flip over and I'm like, maybe I can try and take him out. And I see if I can. And it winds up that I actually end up killing him here. And I'm actually kind of impressed that I'm able to do that. He flashes over. I know that he's going to take the plant here. Because and then he smacks the plant. Because the Zoe comes and tries and gets him. And she gets him. Oh, she gets him. Oh, I thought I got him. Oh, darn it. So then I hit this over here. And I say, all right, cool. I'm going to make this Scuttle Crab mine, and then I'm going to go see what I can make happen. Knowing that I have my Krugs to take care of, I go back and I finish up my full clear. My Gromp has just respawned. So it's important for me to know where my camps are and what I'm able to do with them. In this mode here, for this post review, you can kind of see the gold value and how we are ahead by about 2,000 gold. But it does not mean that it's one game at this point. So I reset, I get my item, and I come back out and I'm that much stronger. Knowing that there is going to be another minute 30 on Dragon and another 2 minutes and 30 on the Rift Herald, I don't need to be forcing any plays. Bot lane makes a spicy play here. The Jinx was almost able to get a double kill, and I think she gets most, if not all, of this tower. I think the Ahri comes, and I think they're able to finish off... No, yeah, so the Ahri comes, and I ping them away, because I notice that the Ahri is missing, and they do end up listening, which is amazing. Yeah, the Ahri's missing, and then we don't know where Cassante is. And so we were able to waste Ahri's time and have the Zoe get a plate and then fall back. So the Ahri effectively wasted all of her time going down to try and make a play in bot and didn't get anything for it because they were smart enough to back off and realize that the Ahri was missing and the Cassante was missing, and that's a recipe for a bad play. The Lux rotates mid, and I think this is a rage play. I don't know why she's mid, but she is. And then Ahri stays bot, and she does end up, I think, getting the kill on the Jinx. She flashes for it. Yeah, see, she hit that kill. And then she dies under tower for it, which is just, all right, fine. You know, you be you. So I just ping assist, knowing that the dragon's got 7 seconds to be up. I'm going to sweep and clear this ward. And then I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to pull it out. And then I note that the bot lane, my Jinx has just respawned. The Lux is still there, and I have to be very careful. And I hit the Lux with the Q, amazing enough that I hit there with the Q, and then I try and flash and do my ult. And I get hit by a Caitlyn trap, unfortunately, and I'm like, ah, shoot. Can we do anything with it? No, we can't. But then from here, it's like, oh, hey, Cassante, I don't want to play with you at all. And so it's like, I knew I couldn't kill the Cassante just because that's not what a Mumu does. A Mumu does not do damage. He sets up the kills. So I'll Q over the wall, and I'll press the advantage right now. The Jinx crashed her wave, and the Jinx on objectives is nutty damage. Absolutely nutty if she's able to get her triggers going. And you'll see her just, we'll see, especially with everyone here. So 4 people on Dragon, absolutely, we're going to melt this thing. The charm got hit there, but I'm able to hit the Ahri. And then we're able to follow her, and she's able to finish up the kill. I hit the Cassante. We're focusing on the Cassante, which is amazing focus fire from my team. You don't always see that. People are sometimes split when they go in these engagements. And then we go in here and we're like, all right, back off, back off. We got the kill. Let's just back off and let's get the objective. Knowing that Cassante is down, we can take Herald without a fight. So I push myself over there and I ping on my way to it. Zoe is smart and effectively helps me with all the objectives that they can, which is amazing. We see the Malphite here. Zoe peels off. I peel off. I try and make a play happen there, and I'm like, nope, okay, it's not worth the reset on the Herald. Let's make something happen here with the Herald. Let's see if you can bait him in, because he might try and R in and steal it, but in fact, he's actually just going for the Darius. And he winds up, Darius flashes out. And he just doesn't have the damage. He doesn't even have a full item at this point in the game. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. So we go mid. I instantly drop Herald to try and kill this tower, because no one's taken a tower yet. So this effectively clinches our feats of strength. I'm trying something here. I try and push this up here to get the top tower. The charge runs out, like right around here. Yep, right around there. And it's like, oh shoot, it didn't stay. And I thought it would do another charge, but it doesn't. I knew if I went and did a double charge here, I was afraid, or not knew, I was afraid if we did a double charge there, if it would end up getting me killed. So I back off. I could have probably taken this tower had I helped the Herald hit it. But again, Amumu is not that kind of champion where they have tower damage, like a Trundle or like a Master Yi or even a Garen or someone where they have an ability that chunks a tower. So it is what it is. I know the strengths of the champion. I played him enough, but that's also why I'm doing the 100 game series, so I learned more about him. So back into full clear mode. You'll see me just going back into full clear mode, and I finish off my jungle item in this clear right there. We're effectively a little bit ahead of the Cassante, not as much as we were with the Kazakhs in the last game, but the Kazakhs also kept on trying to make plays. The Cassante at this point has not made any plays. They're 0-3, and they're just not helping their team in a constructive way, and that may be because they don't know what's going on. Now, I saw that the Darius died, so I'm not going to give this tower for free, so I actually come up here and I actually cover the wave. Because I do not want to give this tower for free, and no one was here. They're skirmishing mid, and this effectively holds the Malphite here instead of having him go mid lane so that he can have some type of impact on there. He's 2 levels up on me, and it's a Malphite. He has 2 items. I know he's not going to... 2 items and full boots. I know he's not going to be able to get taken care of. So yeah, he was taking tower shots that whole time. So effectively here, I just stun him, I finish him off, and then I waste my abilities, honestly. But I think the Darius gets the kill. I think he does? No, maybe the Seraphine. Okay, I knew it wasn't me that got the kill. So I ran out of mana. That was ultimately what ended up happening there. I ran out of mana. So now I go back into jungle, I go back into clearing. We keep on having fun. So right here, they make a play mid. I'm doing Raptors. I'm not about to try and go that way and get into the Lux ult. They do end up getting the Lux. They finish pushing this wave pretty far down, and I think they end up taking mid tier 2 while I'm clearing the rest of my camps. I also know that Dragon is going to be up in, I think it's 40 seconds. Yeah, 50 seconds here. And Otacon is also going to be up bot side right down here in 50 seconds. So I'm trying to make sure that my camps are down and I'm able to get to one of those two objectives, planning around that strength. Mid lane, they're just running it down mid lane, crushing the enemy team, which is amazing. And then it's like, all right, hey, we got 30 seconds until Otacon or Dragon, so please reset. I tell him that I'm on my way. I don't have enough for an item at this point. Knowing that, I don't reset, and I try and look to make a play down here, see what's happening. I'm like, all right, let's pop the plant. Let's see what there's anything about. It's like, all right, there's nothing for me to do. I don't want to show on the wave, so I effectively try and finish sweeping, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to take Dragon. I see up here, they made a play here. I feel that they're all here. I have no idea where the Cassante is, but at least 3 of them were up here to kill the Darius. And so it's like, might as well take this. My team rotates down. I see the TP go across the map, and the Malphite comes flying across the map, and they wound up stealing it, but he uses R to do it, the Lux and the Malphite. I am CC locked, and I wind up dying. The Malphite gets the shutdown. He does wind up dying himself, and we do end up acing their team here, I think. So the Seraphine gets the root. She effectively hits that. The Jinx is on resets. She hits them right there. And then the Zoe comes around here, and I think finishes off the Lux. Yep. Right there. We ace them, and it's like, all right, cool. Well, when I get back up, I'm waddling myself all the way over to Otacon to take that. But at that point, we didn't need it. It was one of those things where it was like, did we actually need to do that, or did we actually just need to finish off the game? So I say I'm going here, but as I see them closing out the game, I say, all right, we've won this. We don't need that objective. So I push into base with them, and we wind up winning. So this is busygamerdad showing you guys 2 more games for Amumu 100 games in the jungle. Hopefully you guys like this post-game review as opposed to the live commentary. I'm going to try and mix it up, keep it a little bit more interesting for myself as well as for you guys. And I hope you guys subscribe for more content. We will catch you in our next episode where we'll do another maybe 2-3 games for the Amumu series, and we'll have some more fun. Later.